Hi students, very good morning. Welcome to Unacademy YouTube. Very good morning. As I can see, people are joining in. Very good morning, guys. Okay, like I had told you guys, this one is the part one of our human development. We would be having a part two of the same. And as you know, that our revision classes are going on right now. So I'm covering all the chapters for you guys, which you have your final exams on your head, and most of the students have requested that their final exams are before 15th of February. So I would be covering the course and syllabus for you guys, of course. So just let's wait for another 2 minutes till others join, and then we will begin. All right, let's begin. Now, today I'm going to take your human development. Okay, that's the most crucial chapter, yet the most easiest chapter, because every single thing we are going to study on this unit is a very practical oriented part of our day to day lives, which starts right from the prenatal time and goes up till to death. Okay, which is very important. That's point number one. Now let's begin. My name is Professor Urmi Chakravorty, and I bring to you the best about of you know why we what do you call the subject of psychology or sociology and entrepreneurship, because I myself belong to the humanities background. So that's point number one. Point number two, this is a little about what I have done, and till how I have reached here. So I'm happy to help you guys, and I'm hoping that you have a great endeavor with us at Unacademy and have a fantastic time learning with us. We always request our amazing students and watch public to your audience to take up our plus subscription plan. The reason behind it, we have daily practice sections, we have mock test series, we have live quizzes, we also have um, doubt sessions in which you can probably ask a doubt. Okay, and we have subjective test series which have already commenced, so it's not coming soon, it's actually on ongoing, and it's happening. What makes you or gives you an idea better than sitting at the comfort of your house and learning from your house? You get unlimited access to all the course and study materials. You know, there are top educators who are teaching you. There is an exhaustive syllabus which is being covered. There are regular doubt clearing sessions. There are live test series, which is basically designed for the students in a PDF format. There are answer writing sessions, which is for you for proper practicing for acing your final examinations. And the most beautiful thing is having the right amount of mentorship and guidance. Now, these all things are being provided by us to you in a plus platform. Not just this, there are some students who find it very difficult to have group studies, and for this reason, they usually take up and they want a one on one mentorship and coaching, for which Unacademy basically has come up with a plan of Unacademy Iconic subscription. Now, this is where you get a personal mentor, and you have weekly reports. All the details are basically given to your parents, where they are being informed about your developments. They are being informed about your parent connect. They are being told about the study planner, which has to be executed and done properly. And this basically gives you all the benefit of plus, which you earlier never had. Okay, so that these are the features of the iconic subscription. Next, we have commenced with some optional batches for class 11th. Like that there are some subjects which are commonly shared by all the branches, that's science, commerce and arts. So yes, these are the branches. Please make sure that you go through this and get and participate in the batches, and tell your friends as well. Subjects like psychology, physical education, entrepreneurship. As you know that even I am taking your psychology and entrepreneurship. These are optional batches, and you know the timings. So mine are always already on plus, and we have launched chapter-wise courses for you guys. So any chapter which you are not getting, or any specific revision of marathon which you're not getting, please go ahead, check them out on my profile. The profile link is also being given below, and also the link for class 11 telegram channel if you would like to join, and if you would like to after watching this class, if you have any doubts, please feel free and join the channel. And if you have any questions, or if you need any updates on the next class whenever it is coming up, please write it on the or on the comment section, that which is the chapter you want me to take next, and I will take the same. So these are some class 11th optional batches which have commenced. Class 12th board exam batches have also commenced, and these are also 2 months, which are your revision batches. So go ahead and check them out. Science batches, two new courses have been launched for the physics revisions. Okay, so these are Let's Crack Physics batch for your CBSE class 12 boards. So Mr. Manoj Kumar and Mr. Vinod Kumar, both of them have started commencing and taking the classes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is Vinod sir's batch. Thursday, Friday, Saturday is Manoj sir's batch. Please go ahead and check them out. The Unacademy Ascent transcription is the blessing which we all have, because this helps you revise, and execute and plan things, of course, in a certain way, in a proper channel. So please go ahead and check them out. So this is the new batch which is being, this is the new concept which is being launched since a long time, and every month we have it. And who would not like to have a revision session and play quiz and win and stand a chance to win scholarship, which are worth rupees 5 lakh every single month. Feel free and go and check it out. You can use my referral code Urmi Life for class 11th plus subscription. As you can see, the subscription prices are of different ranges, and they might just increase later on. So go ahead and check out your plan, whichever is suitable and comfortable for you. We as educators always suggest you to go for high-end plans, because uh, the deal is better, and you will not any which ways finish off things in a 1 month span or 2 month span, unless it's the last minute plan where you just want to do things for revision. Okay, so we would advise you strongly to prefer a high-end plan and a module. For example, a subscription plan, for example, 18 months or 24 months. Similarly, for iconic subscription also we have plans. You can just have a look at it. There are different ranges: 6 months, 12 months, from 15,000 to 43,000. That's from 1 year to exactly 2 years. We have plans like this. Go ahead and check it out. And if you use my referral code, you can also avail a 10% discount on your Unacademy plus subscription. So this is something which I wanted to tell you. This applies for class 12th plus subscription as well, and also for class 12th iconic subscription. Okay, now very quickly, I'm going to start with the gist and glimpse of the chapter. When we speak about the term development, okay, we always think that okay, development is equal to maybe the physical changes of our human body. Okay, we have seen that, for example, I have a younger sister, so I have seen that she also has looks like my parents, like I do. I look like my mom, she looks like my father. Now, these are two things which are very, very important because we are speaking about physical changes and developments. And these things usually happen the way we are being brought up. Now, sometimes we have qualities inculcated and inherited by our grandparents, sometimes it is our parents, which are genetic, and causes are by the genes. Okay, now, these are commonly observed at home with younger siblings, with parents, grandparents, in school and peers, people around us. Now, school also, because sometimes you get influence and you can see a lot of development from class 5 to class 10th. You must have seen a long drifting change in your physical and your mental, in your the way you think, the way you you know interact with people, etc., and all those things. Okay, so right from the conception of infancy, right from the place where you're in your mother's womb till the time you are meeting and interacting people socially, getting in touch with them, knowing about them, discussing things, etc., or even developing a social relationship till your death, which is the last lifespan. This is known as the concept of development. And my amazing students, please let me tell you, the quote and definition of development will come in exam. So kindly mark an important for this. Next would be development is also a pattern. Okay. Now, why is it a pattern? It's a pattern for of progressive, okay, orderly and predictable changes as well. Now, why predictable? Because sometimes you know that okay, now this is the phase where the baby is grown up. Now he or she starts walking. Okay, now he or she will have the this is the right time where he or she will start talking. Okay, he or she will start developing motor skills. Okay, he or she will be developed by the interplay of socio emotional or cognitive process, thought process, biological process. And all these things are very important because sometimes, or not sometimes, actually usually all the time, it comes from the parents, where the development is due to the genes which are inherited from the parents, such as height, weight, your brain, your heart. Okay, the entire concept. Hi Jaspreet, good morning, welcome to the class, beta. Okay, so the entire concept of development begins, which can be due to the genes, due to the process, lungs development, things like that. Very good morning, beta. How are you? Fine, ma'am. That's great. Thank you. Chalo. Now let's begin. So, development is also influenced by an interplay of biological, social, emotional thought processes because whatever you do, imagine you're taken birth. After that, you develop your motor skills. After that, you develop your heart. You develop your thoughts. You develop your mind. You develop your the way you eat, every single thing. Then you start going to the school. Then you start interacting with people. Okay. Hi Urja, good morning. Urja, it is not Urmila, it is Urmi. Very good morning, Urja. Okay, so this is development due to genes, also which are inherited from your parents, which you are taking from them, which leads to a biological process. Okay, Now, the role of cognitive process in development basically plays an important role because these are mental activities which are related and associated with the process of knowing and experiencing. Please remember the word cognitive, the word cognition. Whenever ये word आता है ना बेटा, सबसे पहले दिमाग लगाना कि it is about the thought process. बिकॉज कॉग्निशन मतलब सारी चीज़ें जो आपके मेंटल प्रोसेस के साथ होती है, जो भी आप एक्सपीरियंस करते हो, जो भी चीज़ें आप अपने लाइफ में देखते हो, समझने की कोशिश करते हो, द थॉट, द परसेप्शन, द अटेंशन, डिफरेंट सॉर्ट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज यहाँ पर हम परसेप्शन, अटेंशन, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग की बात कर रहे हैं. नेक्स्ट इज सोशियो इमोशनल प्रोसेस. नाउ सोशियो इमोशनल प्रोसेस is that influence or that development which refers to the changes in individuals' interaction with other people. Okay, changes in emotions, changes in personality, a child's hug to his or her mother. Okay, a young girl's affectionate gestures towards his or her sibling or cousins like we call. Okay, या फिर किसी एक अडल्ट का कोई मैच देखने जाने पे या मैच हार जाने पे फीलिंग बैड अबाउट इट. These are all socio-emotional processes which are deeply involved in human development. Like when you are growing up, okay, we always have that emotion, we always have that sentiment because it's a key human feature and characteristics which definitely play an important role, right? So, Urja, I'm asking you now, what do you mean by socio-emotional development? What is your understanding about it? Can you tell me about with an example, beta? Can you tell me, Jaspreet? What do you mean by socio-emotional development? Okay, and why is it important? See, we all have studied society. We have all studied, the conditions around us. So we all know that how we develop emotions and personality, how we have seen our behavior being affectionate towards our family members. Okay, losing someone gives us the sorrow. That also is human development because emotions are involved here. Okay, next is the lifespan perspective on development. Now, lifespan is because we are starting to read it right from infancy till death. So, please remember the lifespan that is known as LSP includes very few assumptions. Now, assumptions are which are already being taught. You can already um, pre-assume things that okay, this can happen, this will happen. So, first of all, lifelong development is lifelong. Okay, it's not. Social emotional development is important as all human beings are social animals, and at the end of the day it's a societal living. Very good answer, beta. Very well answered. Very good. See, I told you, when you know something you must share. Okay, Urja, so it's my class. You would want to share something, you would want to learn something, feel free. All right. um, okay, next is development. Okay, development is lifelong, like I told you that uh, when you're learning certain things, okay, learning is a process which can go on. Similarly, development is a process which can go on. Okay, once you have reached a phase where you're biologically or physically grown, after that how the development life goes on, maybe with the way you think, maybe the way you imagine certain things. Now that is the time where your development is lifelong because uh, it includes both gains as well as your losses in life. Okay, where you interact in dynamic, which is dynamic ways. For example, the change in aspect which goes with the change in others ways throughout the lifespan. That's a very important part here. Okay, so it's lifespan, which is development, and that's life long. Point number two: various processes of human development, biological, cognitive, socio-emotional, are interwoven in the development of a person throughout the lifespan. Why interwoven? Now, see, I would be connected. My life would be connected with my thoughts, the place I live in, the place I interact with, my emotions of how I feel and how I react to situations. And this is the situation, or this is the process of human development, guys. This is the process of human development. Okay. Socio emotional. One second. Let me read Urja's comment. She has written a very beautiful comment on socio emotional development. Okay, during the interaction, social emotional development in the process in which an individual learns how to develop thoughts and process and involves formation and emotion, formation of emotions and expression of these characters during interaction. Fantastic. Very well answered, Urja. Yes, it is about the learning process. It is about the interaction which is interwoven. So, very well portrayed, and I really like the way you have written the answer. You have framed it very beautifully, Urja. So, I'll give you points for this, okay? Very nicely written. Next is development is multidirectional. Now, why multidirectional? Because here the dimensions or the components of a given dimension of a development may increase or decrease. Sometimes your development is taking place, sometimes it is not. Okay, for example, experiences of adults may make them wiser and guide through their different sort of decisions, uh, about life, being practical, having their own experiences. Or sometimes it decreases. Now let's take an example. Let's take my father. When he was at his young age, he was a boxer. He used to run very fast. Now he's growing up, he is aged, so he still runs, but will he have the same speed which he had when he was 30 or 20? He will not have it, because at the age of 30 you had a different level of fitness. At an age of 60 you have a different level of fitness and level of uh, strength, where you can pull off things. I'm not saying that you will not have it, but the development kind of slows down here. Okay, that's multi-directional. Next is development is highly plastic. So this is not the plastic which we usually talk about, the factors of global warming here, but rather it has to be a development process which is varied from individual to individual level. For example, the development which I am having right now is different from the development which you are having right now. Okay, so we have a different kind of development which is not same. Okay, my development is different, your development is different. So that's a most important part here, which can be modified as per the situation and as per the person, because individual to individual this thing matters. Okay, so the skills and abilities which are improved through the lifespan, it can be, imagine what do you call, the improved or the developed lifespan, which is done through um, participating in different courses, learning new activities, making your hobbies as your passion and getting certified for that, etc. Okay, last one, the fifth one is development, which is influenced by historical conditions. See, guys, whatever your grandparents saw when they were young, okay, we are not able to see that. So the time which they saw as a 20-year-old when they were in school, and the time which we are seeing today as a 20-year-old in this time, it's very different from those, because the time of development 50 years ago was very different and vast than the development which is there today. Okay, Urja says development of any sort is an intersection of cognitive, biological, and social development. Yes, it is absolutely interwoven and intersection, like it's mentioned. All right. So next is development being the concern of number of disciplines. Okay, there are number of disciplines and number of disciplines like psychology, sociology, anthropology, neurosciences, which study human development, and each of them are trying to provide answers to the development through lifespan. Lifespan as in whatever is happening around us. Okay, it's not limiting to one. It has a lot of things. It has an involvement of all the subjects as disciplines. For example, we say that sociology has a discipline of economics, psychology, history, um, political science, which are all connected to this subject. Similarly, even psychology has connected to different kind of disciplines which they study about, because here we are talking about development being a concern of different disciplines. Disciplines is equal to different streams. Okay, streams is equal to different subject is equal to different uh, concepts. Next is an individual response to an act on context, which include what was inherited, the physical environment, social, cultural context. For example, all the life examples in your and my life will not be the same. Okay, imagine I have seen or witnessed an experience which is a life, changing experience for me. Maybe I have seen a earthquake, maybe I have seen a death which has shocked me. Okay, which might be something which might be positive, something which might be negative, but it might affect and stop my development. I recently would like to give you an example. Someone had told me this story, that's why I'm sharing this, because this is an example of an individual responding to in physical environmental shock, okay, or effect here, which stopped their development. So there was a lady who apparently had six kids, six sons, and all the six of them, somewhere or the other, she lost them, they died. Seventh one, recently, some friend of mine told me this, that this has happened with their family. It's her bua jinke bare mein I'm telling. And the seventh one, when born at an age of 7 years, she lost one more son. Now that lady, neither she can talk nor she can listen. She's become deaf. Deaf, and she's become, what do you call? Not blind. She's not able to say anything. She's called as she has speech issues. She doesn't know how to talk. She's completely lost her voice. She's completely lost it. Now the reason behind, because it's a shock, and her development is stopped there because of a major shock of her life, that every birth she has given, it's gone, the sons are gone. So can you believe what a kind of life shock it is? It's deadly. Okay, so that development does, and that can that is a shock which can be a major um, hindrance or barrier which comes in your place. Okay, hi Balpreet, good morning, welcome to the class, beta. So that can be a shock which can stop your development, and which is not a very good thing and a good sign. Okay, next is growth, maturation, development, evolution. Okay, I'm late, no problems, beta. You can we still have half an hour to go, so you can attend, you can ask questions, you can one more time after the class gets over, rewind it and watch the first few minutes. Okay, and if you have any question, the live chat box is all yours. Please put it across and I will take it from there, Balpreet. Also, tomorrow is the second part of this class. That's part 2. Do not miss it, guys. Okay, today is part 1, tomorrow is part 2. As I told you, that I'm going to revise all the chapters of your course for your pre-boards, for your final exams coming up. So, tomorrow also we will have a class. Okay, is that okay? All right, take care. Growth is an evolution which is continues only up to a certain point and later reaches a peak of saturation. Development is a continuous process and a lifetime of a person. Very good. Yes, good job. Now, growth refers to the increase in the size of body parts of the organism as a whole. Okay, height, weight. Development means that you're going from one class to reaching to the next class and you're learning more skills, learning more things, and it is a life cycle which will continue and which will not stop. Okay, so the term development applies to the changes which are basically one stage after the second. Next, maturation doesn't come through age. Maturation comes through experiences. Maturation can be, for example, a 10-year-old can be more matured than a 50-year-old. Possible. It is all here. And remember, the difference between brain and mind, they are not the same. Okay, But because your thoughts are again involved, that is the reason you have to know the difference between a brain and a mind. Okay, now why evolution? Because evolution is something which is coming on from a long time, and it has been changed. So whatever the way your parents lived their lives in, we are not living in the same life. All right. Maturation refers to the changes that follow an orderly sequence and largely dictated by genetic blueprint, which produces commonalities in our growth and development. This is very important because here we are trying to speak about the children. Now, for example, there are some kids who stand at a very young age. There are some kids who take a lot of time because it's a different kind of thing, no? It's an underlying concept where every child is a different body. Every different body reacts in their own way, their own style, and takes their own time. Okay, so these processes seem to unfold from within the following characters, or which are genetically determined with the timetable that is characteristic of the species. Now, why am I saying this? There are special efforts sometimes taken to accelerate these behaviors. Like, for example, one of my cousin sister, their brain is a physical organ. Yes. Now, there's one of my cousin sister. She keeps telling me that, okay, Urmi, your daughter speaks so fluently. She's just 4. My daughter's turning 4 as well. She's just not talking. She doesn't say a word. She doesn't say a sentence completely. And I tell her that's completely fine. She'll take her own time. Why? Because it is a process which differs from individual to individual body. Maybe it is not required that whatever one child is doing, the other will do the same thing. Like, for example, easiest example to give you is somebody's pregnancy. Every pregnant girl or lady will not be the same. Every pregnant body is not the same. They will react in different ways, and they will change as per their own situations and thinking processes, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Does not necessarily increase in age. Yes, it doesn't go with age. I told you, it can be restricted. It can differ from person to person, time to time, with experiences, etc., etc., etc. Next, what do you mean by evolution? Now, evolution refers to the species specific changes. Okay, natural selection in an evolution process that favors individuals or a species, okay, that are adapted to survive and reproduce. Okay, now that's evolution. Now the evolutionary changes are passed from one generation to the next generation within the evolution proceeds at a very low space. Now I told you that whatever we guys were, we were apes beforehand. Then we slowly developed into human beings. Okay, it has taken a lot of time. It does not happen overnight. It has taken time, but we have developed. We have come to a process of evolution. Okay, so please remember apes, monkeys, uh, the Homo sapiens, and then what we transform to today. This very well is a transformatory process which is changed into a huge evolution. Okay, let me see what Urja has writing. Okay, meanwhile, till the time I'm checking Urja's comments, any questions or doubts still here, guys? Any questions or doubts, please tell me. Evolution, it is so dynamic that depends, it is so dynamic and depends on the surroundings and variations due to the DNA replications, yes, correct, correct. All right. So you have got it till very, very well projected till your natural selection phenomena. Okay. Now, this is evolution. So what I'm discussed with you right now is about growth, development, maturation, and evolution. What is it? Growth, development, maturation, evolution. Once again, growth is the increase in your body size, for example. Development can be lifelong. It is a process which is your entire lifespans through, the change in which brings about in your lifespan entire your life, throughout your life. Maturation is not limited, it can happen anytime depending on your life, depending on the experiences, depending on what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and not based on your age. Okay, so this is maturation. And the last is evolution, which is very species specific. Okay, very species specific change that can be a natural selection, uh, for example, in an evolutionary process, and why it is important. So that's basically evolution. Okay, now any questions still here before we move ahead to the factors which influence in the development? Any questions still here, guys? It's clear, Urja, it's clear till here, beta. Do we move ahead now? Just give me a thumbs up or yes or no, beta. Okay, great, chalo. Next is factors which are influencing development. Now, what do you mean by the factors which are influencing development? See, influence term is when your thought process is affected by something, when your life is affected by something, when your process of development is affected by something, and all these things are due to a major drift or change or involvement of influence. The word influence here, okay? So people also differ with respect to their intelligence. Intelligence doesn't mean that only if you get good marks in exam that means you're intelligent. No, there's a very different definition on this, which we have also studied in the previous chapters. Okay, so and we have also studied about in this chapter in detailing, or in the chapter of learning, where it is not about you getting good marks in your exam which shows your intelligence. No, your learning abilities, your memory, psychological characteristics. These are all the development features which are beyond and beside your physical characteristics or approach. So, despite these variations, no one can be mistaken for any other species. Okay, now we are all Homo sapiens, and what causes us to be different from each other but at the same time more like each other? That is an important factor. Okay, so the answer lies in the interaction of heredity and environment. When we are with people, if we are at its best part, if we are doing things in a certain way, this helps us to be different from each other. Yes, the spatial, the logical intelligence, the artistic intelligence, there are different modes and different ways which show you that why you must take this profession because you're good at it. Happens. Very good point. Majorly, a main point here is about the types of intelligence. Okay. First can be genetic transmission. This can be a major factor. This can be a major influencing factor in development. Now I'll tell you why. Because in the combination of so many genes, okay, you have to understand that the way you behave or the way you react also is about the way your parents behave or your parents react, because you've got it from them. Okay, so most of the human combinations are a large, or a pool of genetic what do you call, combination of genes. So you can imagine the combinations produced 80,000 or more genes, accounting by a variety of characteristics and behavior of a person. It is not possible to possess all the characteristics which are made available to us by genetic structure. So yes, it differs from one to another, but the actual genetic material or a person's genetic heritage is also known as a genotype. So genotype and phenotype, they can give you an example, they can give you, write a definition on genotype. That can happen. Okay, so genetic transmission is a very complex, and most characteristics are being observed here, where factor of development, genotype, dominance, or recessive behaviors. Yes, and that also is an important segment, because this is about uh, playing a role of that person, and the heavier side of the genes. All right, so any questions still here, guys? Any questions still here, guys? Okay, no ma'am. Chalo. Continue. Yes. So now after genetic transmission comes phenotype. So what is phenotype here is, phenotype is basically the way an individual's genotype is expressed in an observable and measurable in terms of the characteristics. Okay. So phenotypes here include the physical traits, for example, your height, your eye colors, the color of your eyeballs, the eyelids, the skin texture, the color, your creativity, your intelligence, or your personality to, as a trait, as a personality. And all these things come under phenotype, because this is the way phenotype is basically a way an individual's genotype is expressed in observable and measurable characteristics. This play a very important role. This play a very important role. Okay, so phenotypes, which include physical traits such as height, weight, eye, skin color, many of the psychological characteristics or intelligence, etc., are a major part and parcel of the same. These observable characteristics of an individual are the result of an interaction between the person's inherited traits or the environment. Now, it is about the genetic code which predisposes a child to develop in a particular way. This can be different in people. Everything is basically different in stages in different people. But this is about the genes. This is about you getting something from the parents or inheriting something from the parents. So that's genotype, which is the genetic transmission, which is about the person's genetic heritage. That is, person's original genetic heritage is known as genotype, whereas the entire concept where an individual's genotype is expressed in observable or measurable characteristic is known as phenotype. Next one. What are the environmental influences? Now, what we studied are the development factors which have been influenced by the surroundings of genotype and phenotypes. These are the factors which are influenced in terms of development. Now we are studying about the environmental factors. Now, what do you mean by the environmental factors? Can someone tell me what do you mean by the environmental factors? An environmental factor can be about um, introversion, extroversion, the advancement, the people around, where you react towards certain things as per the people, how they do. You channelize in different way. Your thoughts are different. The way you assume things are different. The way you imagine, perform. All these things are different in an environment. That's an environmental influence, which play a very important role. Okay, which takes and makes a child little more extroverted, as in, that child opens up, that child interacts with the people, etc. That's a kind of influence we are talking here about environment. For example, you just don't talk, but when your friends come, you open up with them, you like talking in front of them, you enjoy with them, because that's an influence of peer pressure. What do you mean by peer pressure here? Something in your school. Okay, something in your school where you have a group where you try to love speaking in front of them or sharing things, or sometimes it goes the opposite, that you are very talkative in your family, but in your school you just don't speak at all, you just don't want to talk at all. That's also an environmental influence which play a very important role in a child's development or influence. Climate, weather, sociological features. Yes, but here we are speaking about, along with ecology, we are also speaking about the conditions which takes place when it comes to social interaction with people. Because this is what the environmental, changes are promoting or influencing the spirit of changes in your personality and your behavior. So, what are the environmental influences? Okay, someone who has let's take an example, someone who has short height. Okay, now when that person is going out, when the people are looking at the child, okay, when the child feels odd because of that concept, comes back home, shares, people around, they are telling, but why is it happening? Because the child is inculcating the genes and it is being transmitted from one parent to him or her. Okay, now if the child gets proper nutrition, he or she will be able to gain a good weight. But if that biology, if the child is not being given proper proportion of nutrition, he will not be able to be taller than what he or she is, because this is adding to your genes to set the limit, and within that limit the environment influence develops. Now, what is the entire concept here of development? It does not take place in just a vacuum. It is it is it is it is a process. Happy birthday, ma'am. No, it's not my birthday. Okay, it is a process which is always embedded in a particular socio-cultural context. Okay, as you're going to read more in this chapter, you will understand the transition. Okay, you will understand how it is about finding jobs, marrying, having children, okay, retirement, etc. All are joint functions of the biological changes and the changes in one's environment. Please remember, environment can change or alter anytime during an individual's lifespan. Anytime. January it's different, and December it gets different. Monday it's a different thing, Sunday it's a different thing. So there's a time frame change here as well, which can be drifted in your own ways, etc., etc., etc. Okay, Urja, that's not my birthday. Urja, you're psychologically starting your own assumptions. That's not the development we are talking about, beta. Now, please remember, this leads us to the slide where we will discuss about chromosomes. Now, before I start explaining you chromosomes, which we would be taking from in tomorrow's class, because of course we have divided this chapter into two parts, part 1 and part 2. Now, I'm just going to quickly give you a briefing about what we have done today. We studied about what exactly is development, what do we think of it, what is the definition, what do you mean by social relationships, what are the reasons of development, and why is it important in a socio-economical or cognitive process, how it is inherited from people, how it is being taken and it plays a role of biological process in our lives. The entire process is also dependent on the influence which we have in our life. Example, it can be an emotion of an affectionate cousin towards another one, a feeling towards a friend, a sorrow towards losing something. Then we spoke about the LSP. That's basically the lifespan perspective of development, where right from the infancy to the death, we have seen that the development comes handy with different ideologies behind. It is lifelong, it takes place across all age groups, right from the birth till the old age. It is about biological, cognitive, and socio emotional, which are interwoven, and the development of a person, which is throughout the lifespan. It is multidirectional. So, some dimensions or components of a given dimension of development may increase while the others show a decrement, which can go down. Okay, please remember, it is plastic, it can be influenced by historical conditions, it is the concern of number of disciplines which might differ, okay, of psychology, economics, history, pol science, everything. It is inherited by different reasons: physical, social, context of environment, historical, various. Last we read about what is growth, development, maturation, and evolution, which are four different parts, okay, which we are discussing right now, which we have discussed in detail. So this is growth, development, maturation, and evolution. After this, we spoke about factors which have influenced the development, all the factors. We spoke about genetic transmission, we spoke about phenotype, we spoke about the environmental influences, and we studied till the place where we have studied about the context of development when a child enters the school, when he or she starts learning, right from that phase to the retirement. These are all different processes of environmental and biological developments. Tomorrow we will exactly start from the microsystem, where I will discuss with you what do you mean by a chronosystem, how does it play an important role, and all these things tomorrow in the second part of this unit charge class we will be completing. I'm hoping that you have understood today's class. If you have any questions, please feel free and you can ask me the same. So thank you so much. Have a great day, my lovely, lovely students. And on the comment section, please write if you want me to take any other subject, any other chapter from this subject, uh, or maybe sociology or entrepreneurship, whichever which I take for you guys. So thank you once again. God bless you. Stay safe. Lots and lots of love, and I'm gonna see you guys again tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. And the link would be shared on the Telegram channel. So if you have not joined it, go join it soon, and feel free and share if you have any thoughts. Like the video, watch it, share it with your friends, and help them revise for your final exams as well. And let's crack it.